So, how do you handle conflict with romantic partners and close friends? I'm trying to put myself in the empathy of someone who's had to deal with me during conflict and like, what are they seeing? Jeez. How do I handle conflict? Well, I don't know. It's different. It's situational. That's sometimes I'm like, I've been great at handling conflict. There's other times I feel like I've been like the worst person I acted very immaturely in other situations. So, as far as like giving wisdom, I also got to think of that context, giving wisdom of how I handle conflict. And I could sit here on my horse and be like, stay calm and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, nah. The only thing I could say with this, it's like the more comfortable you are with yourself and your competence, the less things that you get triggered by. And I feel like conflict can arise, but is the conflict going to trigger me? Because most of the time it's like, let's figure it out. And I think, yeah, interesting with friends. Yeah, I'm always like, let's figure it out. And I feel like I'm always willing to apologize first. Uh, and then now at times I've been like more discerning with my apology. It's like, wait, did I actually do something that I need to apologize for? Because what is my apology worth if I just use it willy nilly? So now I'm like reflecting more before I'm just like, yo, sorry, like, whoa. And I always would just use that and just like try to apologize first to diffuse the situation. But I'm like, no, I got to be true to myself. And if I'm always saying sorry, then over time, it's just not going to mean anything. So yeah. And then, yeah, conflict. Well, I also know for me, it's like, man, I get space there. I don't think it's like ever been bad if I took space from a conflict. Uh, I know the other person might get more upset, sometimes by it, but I think if I honor myself and I'm like, I take the space I need, I always feel like I'm just more prepared to deal with the conflict. I know that the person's like, yeah, you're avoiding or this or that or what. And I'm like, I don't know. And some people, they're like confrontational people. I feel like me, like yes and no. I feel like I'm playfully confrontational. And yeah, it's, as far as like straight, I feel like this comes from at times in my life feeling like everyone needs to like me. So then not being overly um, like, what do you call it? Confrontational. But I feel like I'm also like, I feel like a lot of times it's like I'm gonna stand up for myself. I'm willing to match the energy, and I also feel like there's times where it's like it's just not worth it, right? Like who cares? We'll go do something like whatever. I don't want to. And the scene I'm thinking of is like I was in the club with my brothers and some of their friends and my friends, and then it's like someone's talking shit to one guy and this, and then it's like it's getting kind of heated in two groups, and I'm like, let's just go. Like what? Like I don't why I don't see what's gonna happen here, right? Like what, we actually throw hands and then you guys get blacklisted? Like no one wants that, right? And yeah, these guys are being goons, and it's like you my boy is in the right, but it's like I don't know. Like this doesn't seem worth it, right? We're in the breeding ground, male testosterone competition, the dance floor, whatever. It's like, man, like I just kind of see it. And I'm like, this is not worth it. This conflict, no. And I'm like, but that's like, there's a conflict now between me and my friends. Cause I'm like, everyone's got to be safe, and we got to make sure we got everyone. So it's like, how do I handle this? And it's like, no, we're not gonna be freaking. Let's not do that tonight. And it's not like, oh, being scared and running. And it's like, pick your battles, pick your battles. And I do feel like as time goes on, you have more discernment over what conflicts you want to get into. And no, this is actually something I've been thinking about. It's like, now I'm getting cooking on this question. What have I been thinking about? Oh, I was in. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So I was watching myself back, watching a little bit more of my content, and honestly, like I noticed in the beginning, not looking into the camera directly as much. And is that? Is it good, bad, whatever? I don't know. One take type of guy, but let's try being more focused on being able to look into the camera, and that's that. But where I was going with conflict, how do I handle it? I feel like you have more discernment over time, but I also feel like that comes with knowing yourself. And the more subtle thing is like, I'm trying to understand more deeply is sometimes you brush something off. You don't want to deal with the conflict right then or there, or stand up for yourself or whatever. And you're like, let's not make a big fuss about it. And then you don't make a big fuss about it. And then life goes on. But then that thing that you didn't make a big fuss about is just still tormenting you. It's still bugging you, right? You might see the person again and you're kind of like, oh, grit your teeth a little bit. And you're like, that fucker, or, and so things of that. And it's like, how do you know when it's like you need to stand up for yourself, or you need to be like, crack a joke to be like, yeah, find a way to confront that, not just like pretend like it doesn't hit me. And that's like a discernment game. Is because some things it's really like that can just pass right through. Like like that. What are you? You're being a dingbat. And then it just passes right through. And then other things, it's like, I want to try to be like, that passes right through. But then it's like, it actually gets caught. It actually triggers something in me. It actually lands somewhere. And then how do I deal with that? Because when it lands somewhere, then it's like, I want to express the energy. And usually that's done by telling the person to their face, like, dude, what the heck? And then I also realized like half of that is my own, like my own insecurity trigger got triggered. They gave me something to look at. Honestly, I should be thanking them for being, and then it's like, oh, all these games. But it's just discernment, right? This is how we grow. We have contrasts of like, ooh, I didn't like that, and then it gets better, and then it also gets, your experiences have like a finer and finer sort of subtleties to it appearing. So conflict, I feel like it's kind of like the parenting thing, or my thoughts about it now. And I don't even have kids or nothing, but just being an older brother, it's like there's a hard and soft way to do everything, and the timing and the situation, it's different, and the person that you're dealing with is different. You might be with one person, it works it the hard way and this, and it works, and then the other person, it could be like, no, it's like the soft way and then the hard way and the soft hard, like. And every person needs to be treated uniquely, right? We can't just generalize blanket people. And I think the same thing with conflict. And I'm also thinking of this in the eighth circuit nervous system, Prometheus Rising, the book I'm all hype about. They talk about circuitry, right? And then you can't communicate to someone who's on a different circuitry than you. So usually in the logical circuitry, you're not angry, right? You haven't been overtaken by that. But someone who is in an emotional circuit, the territorial, the anal circuit, they're angry, they're emotional, they want to protect and defend something, right? And if you're in the logical circuit and they're in the emotional circuit here, you're not, your logic is not going to get through. They're just going to take what you say and then somehow find it as a way to use it as ammo to emotionally kind of over try to dominate you, right? And we see this all the time. And this is like character attacks, right? And I'm like, if you're a logical person, you can see someone being emotional and now doing a character attack. And that's like baby stuff, right? It's like, no, what is the logic here, right? I want to follow the logic, and your character attack is a poor communication style, right? So, but it's like, and so how do you, that's why I'm saying, like, I really feel like walking away never got me in trouble, because it's like usually I'm maintaining logic, or even the other person, they're having logic, and then I get emotional, and then it's like, what is likely going to happen when you have conflict is like both people get emotional. So now we're like defending something, but it's like usually you're on the same team, right? You're friends. So it's like, wait, what is this misunderstanding, and how do we, squash this? How do we talk this out? How do we be chill, right? So that's what's like situational, hard, soft. This sometimes it's like you need to tell your friend, hey, you're being a dickhead. Like, stop. Like, well, you think this is okay? And ideally, you surround yourself with people who can handle that, right? Who can handle that truth and be like, yeah. But I also do believe that there's like a harder, soft way to even tell your friend, hey, you're being a little bit of a boner, right? Like, you're being a super buzzkill and you're just tough. Like, and I like you and I want but this is like, ugh, this bugs me, right? And yeah, there's some, like, now I'm thinking like nonviolent communication and just trying to like pull wisdom to share. But I think there is one thing, and I think it's the you statements. I think that's the secret. Can we avoid you statements and instead make I statements? And then I think when you hear someone being like you, and this is how I think I detected it in myself, was when you're making you statements, I'm really just talking about myself. And I'm like, yeah, that was kind of on that way for a little bit. It's like everything that makes me, that I'm like, ugh, I dislike that in others, that's usually something within me, or that's a past version of myself I used to be just like that. Now I see it and I'm like, ugh, cringy. Ugh. So, conflict with other people. What is the throughput line? What is the quick summary? What is the quick summary? It's like take space. If I were to actually give myself wisdom, it's like politely take space. Politely take space, because that can give both parties a chance to rise back to logic. Um, Also, I've already, I feel like how I already do this is I'm willing to take ownership. I'm like, I'm willing to admit my when I chose selfishness, right? So I'm willing to take ownership, but I do need in conflict to always, like, my advice to myself right now is just give myself more space. The logical reason of why it makes sense to give myself more space is I have time to just allow my whole body to feel it and not just kind of compound silliness and just start screaming at each other. That I feel like doesn't solve too much. Um, are there times where, like, I think with bros, like, are there times where two boys and they're just and they just need to wrestle it out? I do think there's times where that works, and it's like better than talking it out or whatever, right? You just need a little wrestle, and I think for dudes that's one thing, where a little just spar, a little bit of like, yeah, bro, friendly, and but it's like, okay, where do you have that, right? And now it's harder and harder to find people, friends like that, right? And then ideally, if you have friends of character, though, you're not getting into too many conflicts. Or if they come to, or you create a culture with that other person where it's like, yeah, you can say it. You could say the truth of how you see it, right? Don't want you to walking on eggshells with me, right? And yeah, I think of also, what is it? The four agreements. I think the first agreement is like, don't take anything too personal. So can we have friendships rooted in that? And then I also know, like, that's also the best advice for my own self in a romantic relationship. How many fights or times do I get triggered because I take something personally? So that's like the whole thing. Oh, don't take girls so personally. It's like, no, don't take anything personally. Is really, don't take girls serious. Is really just like a band aid in a sexist way for me to say the same thing as, like, don't take my own anything that comes my way personally. So, but at the same time, like, we love feedback, right? So I guess there's also in that regard, like, everything with a grain of salt. And I feel like I rambled pretty good, covered most of, like, this conflict thing with romantic partners and close friends. So take space, take ownership, um, do your best to listen, and catch yourself if you're taking something personally, and then try to. And also, it's like, this is some of the best advice I got about conflict, anger, all of this stuff. And uh, my dear friend Mira, she was like, Case, it's not that you're never going to get angry, but it's your ability to get angry, catch yourself, and then return to baseline. Can you get quicker at that? That is the goal. The goal isn't like, I'm never going to get angry, right? It's like, no, can I allow myself to be angry, catch it, kind of diffuse it by finding out where my trigger is and seeing that, or by being like, is this coming from me taking something personal here? And is there a different perspective where it may not all be this attack on me? And it's like, also being like, am I just like becoming like a territorial, emotional, wanting to dominate, feeling a little bit unsafe mammal? Like, okay, where am I? Can that sacred pause or whatever? But it's pretty much like, what is that loop? It's like, because there's times where it's like, we've all been there, where you get angry and you're just like, the whole day, you're just gonna be angry the whole day now, right? And it's like, can we have less of that and more? It's like, yeah, I got angry, but I was angry for like 3 minutes. Then it was like, yeah, I got triggered and I was triggered for like 30 seconds. And I started laughing at myself. It's like, we've also all had those moments as well. So I just want to remind myself right now, that's really the game. It's not that you're never gonna get angry. You're never gonna experience conflict, but can we return to peace? And also, if the conflict, I feel like, is rooted in I'm losing and they're winning, and that's just a perpetual cycle of this relationship, can I walk away from that relationship? No. And a lot of times I am. It's like, I'm choosing to design my life around only win-win opportunities and win-win relationships, right? So, I mean, that's that. And there's going to be some, all that with a grain of salt, because I mean, we have a stock market which exists as a PvP system, and it's like, that's been a whole mind trap there of like, how do you have win-win situations built on a win-lose casino gambling thingy that runs the world? And so It's like clearly I think way too much about this stuff, and it's like, can I just be selfish and win, from myself? But at the same time, it's like my focus is like I want humanity to win, right? That might be selfish as well too, because if humanity wins and I'm the reason humanity wins, which is like just me saying that, I realize how illogical and absurd that sounds, and even guys like Elon aren't even saying that. So I'm just gonna chill out and let my ego just have a nice deep breath as we read the next question. All right, should we jump over to just to preview it, show you the question? What is your love language? How do you express affection? Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, can we go over here, switch to this camera angle for a little bit? What is my love language and how do I express affection? I don't really know what to say to that, honestly. I guess like maybe quality time. Quality time. I do know, like, so this, who knows? Right now, it's like some touch would be a good way for me. If I had a romantic person around, it's like we'd be touching, we'd be cuddling and all that. And I don't know if it's like a little bit like just long period of time being single and not like cuddling, but I feel like I would be down on some of that love language right there. So I am a big fan of touch as a love language, as my love language. I like to receive that. I do. Yeah. And then like, but it's like with my bros, I'm not like, touch, like let's like let's sit on the couch with our hands around each other or whatever. Like if my bro needs a hug, I'm down to be a hugger, but like yeah, and then quality time with my bros, and I'm thinking about it because at first I'm gonna be like, I'm a good listener. But lately I'm been like, bro, how often have you just been listening? Then when you get a chance, you just babble on about yourself. And yeah, I'm noticing that. So mm, yeah. And then so it's like, what does love look like outside of that? Because I also think half of this Babylon about myself is I feel like I need to, conversation goes stale, or it's like, then it's like, oh, I'm just going to talk about myself because that will be entertaining, and then I'm not necessarily being fully empathetic because maybe the other person wants something more chill. Maybe they just want to BS about the sports game, and it's just nice to have another voice on the line. So, and that's like the hard, soft way, situational awareness, phone empathy. Is that a thing? But yeah, it's like, when are we just going to like, oh, call, catch up, share some jokes, make each other laugh, maybe set a loose plan or be like, yo, I'll message you about a plan. And then when can that be enough, right? Can that just be enough? And that's probably like love. That's like quality time. We had a 10-minute conversation or a 5-minute conversation. It was great. It's like not every time needs to be this like super deep moment, right? And I don't know if that comes just because I'm in a position now where I'm like craving that depth, or what that whole thing is, or I'm building my life around that depth. I don't know fully, but it does feel like that question. I'm thinking, what is my love language with friends? I want to be like, listen, I'll be there for you, this, that. But then I'm like been saying like I'm such a proximity guy. I'll see you when I see you. This, and it's like, yeah. So what is that love then? Is that quality time? With my boys, I like spending quality time. And then I guess lately that's the kind of journey I'm on. It's like, what is quality time, right? And I kind of like realized my quality time has been like philosophical conversations, right? Just conversations, and that's that. And it's like, wait, well, no, now I got to get back into like, what do I like to do, right? What is quality time for me? And what's on my mind is like, I like basketball. So it's like, let's go play basketball and meet some friends. Like, that's how I meet friends, is by doing that. And so, yeah, this whole like, what are my hobbies? Quarter life crisis vibes. It's like, boom, full on experiencing that right now. Hobbies are important, like, So, yeah, that's what's on my mind. Because, like, if you're not like doing hobbies with the boys, what are you doing with the boys? You're going out and drinking with the boys. And it's like, or you're like, go to coffee shops and talk about businessy stuff. And then you guys like nerd out about stuff. I like doing that, but I also like feel like I just need to like, whoa, yeah, let's go climb a tall rock, like because that's just, yeah, let's go throw kayaks in the water and just cause, yeah, and let's just do boy stuff, right? Let's drive dirt bikes and try to go to places no one's been before. Like, I think I need some more of that too in my life. And if that's my love language, that's quality time. I mean, yeah, and also like I think like dates and stuff. Like that's what I like to do, quality time. And then I guess this kind of whole where I'm going on this is like, what is my love language with myself? Can I give myself that quality time, right? And what does that mean? So yeah, love language. What are the other ones? Touch, quality time. Those are the first ones that came to my mind. I do know words of affirmation or something, or just talking sweet. What is that? No, just like hyping, like being a hype man a little bit. That is like one way I show love. And then, but also, yeah, spending the summer with my dad. He's kind of also helped me realize a little bit that sometimes like you can't just encourage every little thing and every little one, right? Or not every little one, but you can't encourage everything, right? He's like, be genuine about it. And my dad has a really high standard for what he'll encourage, right? And then I'm like the new age, I read a lot of books kid, and I'm like, no, if we encourage effort, that's the good thing. Don't say good job or well done. Like, be like, you must have put a lot of effort into that, because if we encourage effort, psychologically that will link them to when I try, good things happen. Whereas you only say good job, they're if they can't accomplish something, then they're gonna have a fixed mindset of I can't do it. And this is like, I think, some like NLP type vibe that came off of Carol Dweck's work on mindset, growth versus fixed mindset. Pretty much your fixed mindset is like, oh, I speak English, that's how I was born, and I can't learn another language, and my brain is just like this, and that's how I am. Versus growth mindset, it's like, with effort I can learn anything, because hashtag human. And yeah, so learning a little spiel about that, how we got there, love languages, words of affirmation, or hyping your homies up. And yeah, but I also, yeah, believe encouragement's a superpower, and not enough people are being encouraged, right? So it's interesting, but can I encourage the effort, and not sarcastically? And also, yeah, when there's something that really impressed me, then also speak on that. So yeah, not just be like using like, uh, just like casting all like, oh, you're so great, you're so great, you're so great, all over the place, so that way people will like me and then I'll feel safe. It's like, no, just be genuine. Just be like, what is good, tell it it's good. What's not good, be like, that's not good. And can I be comfortable with that? Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it, eh? All right. So I'm opening up the iPad real quick, like right here. And let's jump down there. Okay, right there, how do you balance emotional intimacy with maintaining independence? Didn't we have another question like this? I feel like we just answered something like this. How do you balance intimacy with personal autonomy? With maintaining, it's the same question worded slightly differently. But what did I say last time? um I struggle with it. That's what I said last time. I'm not the person that's got the wisdom on this or the juice. From my experience thus far, when I have um when I have a team around me, something team involved, and I'm involved on a team that I'm taking very, I'm having a lot of fun with, then all of this is way easier. So, because otherwise, if I don't have that, I felt like I've always prioritized emotional intimacy over my what is it, maintaining my independence, right? And then I also think a lot of that is because there was this like, I'm scared to follow my dreams energy, right? And now I'm facing off with that. And then I'm thinking about when this wasn't a problem in my life. And this has never been a problem in my life, when I'm, in a way, kicking butt and taking names, right? Like I'm a part of a team, or I feel passionate about whatever project I'm working on, and I'm absorbed in there, and I have accountability and responsibility to other people to deliver on said project that we're collaborating on. And it's like, when that's going on in my life, then I feel like things have been good. This emotional intimacy balance and the maintaining independence, that has been good. And so that's just a reminder to myself moving forward, always it's just going to be better for me to always be leaning on maintaining my independence. Maintaining my independence will just naturally, I feel like I'm better at the emotional intimacy. Like that is honestly way more important for me. And I think I've used the emotional intimacy like as like escapism from just dealing with my fear of pursuing my dream. So that's how I'm going to summarize that question. I feel like that was a nice little summary right there. Right, next question. We'll just jump over to the iPad real quick. Okay, so we had this question right here. How do you navigate differences in personality, interest, or values in a relationship? I'm still figuring all this out. Let's prefix everything with that. How do you navigate differences in personality, interest? Well, where I'm at right now, it's like, before you get into that relationship, can I be a little bit more discerning and be like, do I love this person for them? Where am I falling in love with their potential? And half of falling in love with their potential is if they just changed this one thing, then this would just be amazing, right? So I don't want to be in that. That's not fair. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to me. It's like I don't deserve what I want, and so this will do. It's like, no, this is what I want, and until I find that, whatever. Let's enjoy life. Let's have fun. And that's kind of where I got to be. And I'm very grateful for my last relationship where, despite how stubborn I may have felt she was at times, I think she's really right with this, right? Where it's like, no, just can I just be me and can you just accept me for this, right? And so if I'm like, let me give that game a try, let me actually take you seriously. Well, if I'm going to take her seriously and be like, love people for them and not their potential, kind of like your friends, you just love your friends for your friends and not their potential most of the time, or that's how I am at least. I love them for them. Then ideally my romantic partner should be the same as that, right? And not, yeah, wanting something to change or blah blah blah. And then at the same time, it's like on here, how do you navigate differences in personality, interest, or values? It's like something has to be the same, right? One of those has to be the same. Well, I wouldn't say interest or personality, but I do feel like there has to be some core values that have to be shared from the jump, right? Where it's like, wait, we're entering a relationship because we share these values, and because it's like, wait, I just am in love with you, right? I don't that's that. You're not like almost perfect. You are perfect for me. So is that a little bit fairy tale-y? Yeah, but let's go out there and see if it exists, right? Because I think that will create a better foundation for the relationship where I go in there knowing it's like we're in alignment on the things that actually matter. These ideas of values or standards. Okay, we share that. Now, okay, personalities, they're a little bit different. She likes, she hates mint and I love mint or whatever it is, then it's like, okay, that can be okay. That's fun, right? And yeah, I mean, I just think for like ease of the day to day, it's like, we have a similar diet too. Like, I feel like that's just like, because then otherwise it's like weird now, right? Because it's like now we lose the ability to like cook for each other, right? And I feel like that's a moment of intimacy. So I'm already kind of like aware of some of these things that I would like to share. And I feel like that's enough. So, how would you navigate the differences in personality, interest, or values? I would say the personality, I mean, it's going to be different than you because everyone's unique. The interest, I mean, I'm like, I hope they have different interests than you because now you have stories to share with each other. And then it's like, or values. Well, it's like, I hope your values or your standards are very similar or the same, right? And also, if you're young, it's like, do you guys see your guys' standards and values growing together? And then I also think this like media entertainment is actually really, I'm questioning how much of that needs to be shared, right? Because it's like, do you want to be with the person, but yet what you guys find entertaining as far as like TV media, who you listen to, if that's like completely different, then and it's like, I'm only saying this because in modern day society, it's like, we are we're glued to these screens all the time. So are we actually sharing? And I feel like that's kind of what this question is missing. It's like, actually, how important is our kind of like our entertainment life, right? Who are we being influenced by? Are we being influenced by similar people? Do we find similar people funny? Like, do we meet in the entertainment world, right? Do we have a platform for laughter? And I feel like that would be huge, right? It's like, okay, do we share a similar sense of humor, and can we share stuff with each other that we find funny? So it's like, yeah, I'm not trying to like date my twin, nor am I trying to date my opposite. I'd prefer someone actually more similar than me than more opposed to me, actually. So that's how I'm going to answer how to navigate the differences in personality, interests, or values. So, and that's an experiment too. It's like I'm questioning now in my life. It's like, can we date and have different entertainment taste? And it's like, because I guess I look at my parents in a way, and it's like they share an entertainment taste. And then I look at my ex, and it's like at nights we would do different things because we liked different things. And then that was like kind of weird, right? Because now it's like we're cuddling, but we're all, both like in our own worlds watching our own screens. And yeah. So, or was that already just like a sign or something, or who know? Where am I going with that? I feel like I'm getting a little too vulnerable over here. But how important is that, right? And I guess this is also the question of like quality time, right? If it's like, if you're hanging out and you're cuddling, but you're both looking at different screens, is that actually quality time, right? So, and I'm not talking like, oh, we checked our phone for 5 minutes independently in bed before we fell asleep or whatever, and then we like cuddled and talked a little bit. I don't know, but it's like more often than not, how does that quality time get involved there, right? Because if you're ideally watching the same show, then that's a deeper form of quality time than people sitting together watching different shows, because at least after you watch the show, you guys can talk about it, right? And you're kind of submitting yourselves together to like an experience of whatever that show is. So yeah, and then does that have to do with interests, personalities, blah blah blah? So I guess I'm still trying to understand how to navigate these differences and these importances. And my whole thing is like, this is why there's something called a dating process, because ideally when you're getting to know someone, you're kind of like sniffing out like, okay, where are we similar, where are we different, do we value similar things, would this work, where's my yeses and where's my nos? And then like for me, half of this is like, these are all questions I have. And then when I just let them chill in the subconscious or whatever, and I'm not necessarily in a rush to answer them, but then I'm like, have a situation or experience in my life, or in the future I will, where I'll experience something and I'll be like, ooh, this like kind of answers a question that I might have put in my brain 3 years ago. And now I'm kind of like getting a felt feedback response to it. So, questions can answer themselves in many different ways. All right. Speaking of questions, let's jump to the next question. What spiritual beliefs inform your approach to relationships? Whoa, let's. I just got excited because I'm just like, yeah, different camera, different question, different camera, different energy coming through me. What spiritual beliefs inform your approach to relationships? Wow. Big wig over here, huh? Big question, huh? Mm, what spiritual beliefs influence? Well, do what thy will shall be the name of the law. Uh, yeah, you got free will to do whatever you want. And so, how does justice, what is the relationship if this is a stated fact in the universe, absolute truth? Do what thy will shall be the name of the law. What is the justice in relationship towards that? Justice in relationship towards that is another universal principle. That line, do what thy will shall be the name of the law, cannot be taken out of context against the other natural laws. Because where does justice stand? Justice stands in the other natural law of cause and effect. So, you could just see how it happens. And then you also can't take that out of context of the law of mentalism, right? Because through mentalism, we can actually kind of, this idea of karma can change through mentalism, right? So very interesting concept. And now I'm just trying to jump around, actually answering what spiritual beliefs inform your approach to relationships. All right, let's just talk about the airy fairy stuff now. I think this is like pretty cosmic, this whole this whole like star fam sort of thing. Yeah, I think people come into your lives at the right moment and right time, and it's always divine. I think attraction, if you just are naturally attracted to someone, it's likely because they have some sort of gift of wisdom for you. Though you might be attracted to them sexually, uh, that may not be how your relationship actually turns out. That person might be an amazing poet and have a divine message that they can just communicate you very crisply if you were just vulnerable, real in yourself, and expressed your uh, attraction, right? You admired the beauty that nature is producing in front of you via the art form of another human meat soup sculpture person thing. So, yeah, I do my best to remind myself of these things, and those are my beliefs. So that's yeah, we can learn something from everyone. At the same time, I do think attraction is pointing to, nothing ever goes as planned, but always turns out better than imagined. So yeah, there's something to all of that. And what else? Relationships. Well, there's been this approach, and I guess this is probably how it answers it the best. But I heard that there's three types of relationships. Here I go again with my mental models. Here are the three types of relationships. You have a transactional relationship. So you might have like a transactional relationship with your like gym trainer, right? You go there, you guys are buddies while you're in the gym, whatever. They're helping you get it done. Boom, you walk out done. Like it's, your masseuse. That's a transactional relationship most of the time, right? And then you have transformative relationships, right? It's like two people come together and they are both forever changed or alchemized by that relationship. And then above that, we have transcendental relationships. And these relationships, they are built on shared values that go across time and space. They're timeless values. One timeless value that's like good, no matter what time or space, location, wherever it's good, would be something like honesty, right? So they share on those, and usually there's a few other overlaps as well. The couple that comes to my mind as the modern day kind of flag post for this transcendental relationship is Alex and Allison Gray. And they have a weird, trippy, beautiful story about how they met on LSD, and Alex like really pushed the boundaries as an artist and as a human, like diving deep into what does it mean? What does polarity mean, right? And he went very deep, black, white, yin yang polarity. And that's actually why his last name is Gray, because he realized from that study and from meeting this woman, this transformation and now beyond, is it's not black or white, it's always gray. Everything exists on a spectrum, right? There's the law of contrast, but we also have the law of vibration. So it's like if you think of color as different frequencies, a band of frequencies, we now have a spectrum when you combine those two laws, right? So I guess what I'm trying to communicate here is, thus far, I feel like both my past long-term relationships that I've engaged in, those have been very transformative experiences, and those were perfect. And like I said, nothing ever goes as planned, but always turns out better than imagined. And I really feel that with both those relationships. It's like, wow, this person carried these lessons to me, and we had this beautiful experience. Like, wow, thank you. At the same time, I've been hunting and calling in that kind of transcendental relationship, right? And this is like, the vision of like the boss couple, blah, 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 and all these sort of things, right? We're on the same page, we're kicking butts, taking names together. And then now it's like, can I give that up? Because maybe that will still happen. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll only have transformational relationships the rest of my life. Could I be okay with that? Because I might have other relationships or business partners where I'm being fed by the other thing. But can I give that up? And that's how my romantic partner is going to be. Right. Um, and also, it's like, I'm giving it up because it's a crutch. I've been saying to myself, I won't start working on my dreams until I have that person and I have my transcendental relationship. Then will I go be great? It's like, no, I just got to be great every day. So, as far as my spiritual lens, this is where I'm looking for. I'm looking for that person who kind of matches me, right? We have a shared life vision. I carry some of the pieces, she carries the other piece, and together it's like that picture expands, right? But at the same time, I'm like, just start building your part and see what shows up. Because the reality is, it's like that may have not been the best either. And I'm getting deeper insights into that, right? It's like, do you really want to be spending 24/7 with your spouse, building businesses and doing things? And then at the same time, it's like, yeah, you do that for 30 years, right? And it's, you know, so it's like, does that really what you want? And I don't know. It's like, it sounds nice. And it's like, can you have a transcendental relationship as well? You likely can, and not be like, both people like working corporate. So like, that's because that's the image in my mind almost, in a way, right? It's like transcendental relationship. We are motivational speakers, just like crushing the sales unit, traveling the world. It's like, wait, does my boo need to be that? Wait, could that maybe be my brother? Is my brother, that's our transcendental relationship? And me and my boo, we have a different transcendental relationship, and that has to more do with our family, and we're on the same values with our children. So yeah, instead of being so rigid and like the picture has to be like this, it's like, can I actually sacrifice a lot of these ideals to the universe, right? Yet still take steps every day to work towards them, right? Which is like, the map is not the territory, and that territory is taking that step daily, which, we can have everything planned out to a T, and day comes and you're there, and it's like, you still got to step, or you got to get out of the car and walk in the building, and now let's go. We all been in those moments where it's like, maximum resistance, and then we will ourselves to do it, right? So spiritual perspective, I guess, on romantic relationships, right? Well, and then there's also this whole other world of my research with the nervous system and sexual shamanism, and tantra, and what do these things mean, and what is this whole world, and I have perspectives on all of that, and I feel like that is also a guiding post of something that I'm looking for in a sexual relationship, right? Like, I'm looking to unlock myself, and ideally, have like both. Like, I'm unlocking myself and my partner's unlocking their self, and it's like just poof, just maximum bliss, just because we're exploring the sexual realm together, finding crazy things. And it's like, I got some fun blueprints to look at. And most of this is just like weird breath techniques while you're making love and stuff like that. And you can go to the infinite boner stage. And it's like, where she goes, I don't know. But, it's like, mm, mm, yeah, it's amazing. And it's like, is there someone who wants to really explore that? And it's like, we are so fed by that. Like, that is like one of the core flames of our relationship, right? So that is these are my thoughts on it. It's kind of all over the place, but I think it's all spiritual, right? And then it's like, I'm looking for someone with similar values, and our love making, it's just like, we are knocking on the door, melting into each other and going into the beyond. That's my spiritual belief that's informing my approach to relationships. How do I actualize and manifest all of that magic? So, and I think it starts with, to move closer in there, it's like, with or without my boo thing, I'm gonna live my best life, right? It's got to be that, right? I can't just hide in my room, being like, he's gonna come find me. That's the princess gets to do that. No, I gotta go out there and be like, with or without the princess, I'm gonna go like slay dragons and be dope. So that's my alchemy right now. I got all flip flopped. All right. What is your view on infidelity in romantic partnerships? Well, I think infidelity hurts. I think it really hurts. So, yeah, not my style. Not my style. There's stuff that happens like while you guys are both dating, and before it was like we 100% locked in on each other, okay? But I feel like if it happens, it's like, I'm out. I'm out. I am out. And that's where I am with that. And I think if you go from like a closed relationship, opening it up, bad idea. And I think if you go from a vice versa, though, you like start off dating, flirting, open relationship, and then you close it, different idea. But like, once it's closed, that means like, if this happens, we're done. Like, that's pretty much how the language means, right? If you're in a a monogamous relationship and that person does something with someone else and it's like, oh, what, that wasn't discussed or whatever, then it's like it's done. So, but this is per couple. Everyone's different, right? My views on this, it's like, not my style. Like, I don't think I could be with someone after they, if they cheated on me. I'd be like, nope, I'm done. I'm out. Peace. Not for me. Not what I want. And yeah, yeah. And I'm talking like, we've been like just us for like, you know, if we're like officially dating, because I'm like picky and like, I want my transcendental relationship and everything. So it's like, this stuff doesn't even go through my mind, right? So I'm like, yeah, that's where I'm at. Infidelity in romantic partnerships. And that's like, yeah, there's this whole like dater, right? And it's like that's like, if we're dating, then we're dating. And then it's like, whatever, leave me alone. But if we're like in this serious relationship sort of thing, then no, not happening. So that's my view on it. That is my view, because that stuff hurts, and I don't want to like. And I think it just complicates things, and more people get hurt. And yeah, there's some weird stuff about like genetics and sex, and I don't know. Let's leave that out of there. How do you build trust with a romantic partner and repair broken trust? Wow. Well, first thing that comes to my mind is this quote: trust is gained in droplets and lost in buckets. Trust is gained in droplets and lost in buckets. So rebuilding trust, tough order, very, very tough order. I think it can be done. I don't necessarily know if I've done it yet. And it's done, like I said, it's gained in droplets, right? Which is like compounding small actions and small things. And that's that. And like, I'm pretty cutthroat about it now. It's like, if I can't trust you, we can't be friends, because this like lost in bucket sensation. Well, sometimes when you lose the bucket breaks. So not only are you trying to regain trust, but you're also trying to put duct tape and patch your bucket. It's like, no, let's not play this game. I'd rather like, because sometimes you meet people and it's like, for some reason you give them a bucket half full. You're like, I got a good feeling about this person. I trust them. Sometimes it goes most people, probably most of the time, that actually goes really well for them. And it's like, versus like you're trying to repair something, blah, blah, blah. And it's like bloodline, family, different story, and all of those things. But with your build trust with your romantic partner, like right out the jump, I think I said it, it's small actions compounded over time is how you kind of get a feel for it. Right. So that's kind of, yeah, you watch people's actions, not behaviors. And wait, that's the same thing. Watch people's actions and behaviors, not what they say. Watch what they do. And that's also advice I need to take to myself. That's 100%. I need to take that. And yeah, that's really, I think, how you build it. And I think, how do you repair broken trust? It's lost in buckets. Most of the time, do I think it's worth salvaging? I mean, where I'm at, probably not. No, I don't. How do you repair broken trust? Like, and it depends on the severity, right? Like infidelity, there is no returning that, right? You lied about this. Well, it's like, sometimes there's like, where can I find fault? Have I been like too reactive in a way? So it's like, they're lying because they're scared of my wrath. And it's like, because now, like, wait, maybe I want to know that. Maybe it's like, I can forgive that. And maybe there is something for me. But then there's also this whole world of gaslighting, right? It's like, you know, is she going to put me under that spell that it's like, well, it's only because I'm too scared to tell you how much of a crazy man you are, right? So it's like, whoa, repair broken trust. So yeah, it's like a degree, right? But it's usually like 3 strikes you're out. I'm pretty forgiving if there are smaller things. There's some bigger things where it's like, you're just immediately X from my life. But yeah, that's kind of it. 3 strikes you're out. And repairing broken trust, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know. And that's what I got to say about how to build trust with a romantic partner. Time, quality time. You all got to spend quality time together, and you just got to like see it. You got to see what's good, see how their actions are, see, how behaviors or attitudes or mood change. And like, yeah, trust. And it's like, what does trust mean? That's a whole nother thing, right? It's like, Can I trust you with this not to tell anyone? Or is it like, can I trust you to pick me up at the airport at this time? Right. Those are like different things. So, and then with the romantic partnership, blah, 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 like how are you going to play those cards? Right. And can I trust you not to tell this to anyone? It's like, do you even want to be talking about that in the first place? Like, why do I want to share that? Right. So I think for me also is like, this is kind of like a separate note on this. It's like, what is the purpose? And I even think kind of was the other question I was talking about with like friends and stuff and love languages, and me kind of feeling like lately it might have been dominating some of the spaces or conversations I had with friends talking about myself. And it's like, okay, whoa, where am I going with this? No, trust those things. Trust those things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really just got lost in that sauce. Like I kind of, we're gonna jump to the next question because I don't know what I was gonna say. How do you determine compatibility for romantic relationship? How do you determine compatibility for romantic relationship? You go on one of those astrology websites and you just put both your birthdays and the time you were born. Make sure you put the time you were born, and whatever that says, boom, that's the truth. With a grain of salt. So I don't know. Don't know. Not the person to answer this because based on what I just said, those astrology websites, the two girls I dated, they no, we were not compatible on there, and that might have been why we broke up. What else? What else with that? Also, it's like we dated and we had transformative experiences, and yeah, compatibility. Well, I guess this is kind of one thing I'm holding loosely right now. It's like I feel like I dated in a way. My exes, they were opposites of me in a lot of regards. Yes, we shared similarities and things and values, but in a lot of ways they're opposites of me. And now I'm like, I'd rather date someone more similar to me, right? So I think that's compatibility. It has to do with some of these shared similarities, right? Things of that nature. But I really don't know. I'm gonna be like, continue to experiment, but I don't really got a good answer, right? Because it's like I've been with girls where it says like we're great compatibility, and then we don't end up together, and we just like maybe dated for a little bit. So I don't know what this compatibility thing means, but yeah, that's how you determine compatibility for it's like, but for me and me being serious with someone else, it's we got to have similar values, right? We got to have similar values. That's a start on how I know we're compatible. And ideally it's like we both live true to those values, right? To the best of our ability. So, and that's also like where I'm at with my life. It's like, okay, buddo, can you live your values? Because if you want a partner who lives true to her values, she's probably just waiting for you to live yours and then being like, oh my God, finally. And instead, you're just, being like, am I sure this is my value? And it's like, bro, yes, just stop thinking about it and start doing cool stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Play's my value. So yeah, play. And you're good. All righty. Wait, how do you determine compatibility for romantic relationships beyond initial attraction? Beyond, well, that was part of the question. I don't know. Same thing. I don't really know the answer to that. Whatever the internet says based on your birth chart is is my answer. Yet you might need a transformative relationship. So dabbling with like people where you're like, this is like, I'm fire, she's water. I'm yin, she's yang. Then that might be fun for a little bit too. And I'm guessing you are still going to have some shared values. That's why these opposites attract thing can even work. And likely, if your opposite is showing up, you guys got a lot to you might have something to teach each other. You just might. So that's how I'm answering that question. Let's see here. All right, next question. What what are your top emotional needs in a marriage or a partnership? What are your top emotional needs in a marriage or a partnership? Uh, well, it's just like just to be worshipped, pretty much, just a little simple, just worship me sort of vibe. Not being extreme, but not really. Because like when I come home, it'd be nice to like have a kiss, how's your day going, sort of vibe, like that, um, if I got something heavy, I feel like you're a person I could talk to. Does and it's like you're trustworthy. I feel like here's a big one that I learned through contrast. It's like whatever happened, like the coolest girls, the super cool girls, it's like whatever happens between you and her, it's like she holds that down. That's like a must, right? Because if she's going out airing your guys' dirty laundry all over the town or all over to her friends, that's a red flag, bro. You gotta go. Because now all of her friends are just gonna see you as that dirtbag, right? Even if they know that like you're not. And so you gotta be careful with that, right? And I know it's like for some women, you're asking them not to like lean on all their girlfriends who they bring all their emotional stuff to. It's like, yeah, no, with us, that's the one thing you don't share. You could share whatever else, but with us, let's just figure it out us. That's like there's something to all of that, right? And I think that's a lost art because, and girls probably know this too. It's like, dang, I said all that nasty stuff about, I mean, it just makes them look dumb. Let's be realistic, right? She said all this nasty stuff about her boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he did this, this, and this. And they're like, yeah, leave him, screw him. You don't need him, sis. And then guess what? She's like, stays with him forever. So, oh, we had a light go out. There we go. It's back on. But yeah, and then it's like the girls are like, she's dumb and she's scared and she's just using him. And then they look at you like you're dirt too. So it's like, ladies, you got to be better about how you socially discuss your man. So that's that's what I got to say about that. So we got this little bit of a lighting change. One of my lights died, and I think the lighting's decent enough though. And I'm just gonna answer one more question, and we'll do that. So top emotional needs, I think that's part of loyalty. One, like loyalty, I can trust her like full out. Like I tell her anything, and she'll hold it down. She's not gonna go like whatever I say, go tell everyone. And even weird stuff or like conflicts between us, like for the most part, she's gonna hold that down and not go run around town doing that. And that's like, I don't know, I feel like that's like common sense stuff. That's not like too crazy, right? But I also think for me it's like, I'm not going to be like there telling all my friends like, yeah, she's nuts, right? And no friend wants to hear that, right? They don't want to know that their friend is like stressed because they feel trapped in some sort of relationship to some like crazy person. Like no one wants to hear that. So I think both ways, it's like, how are we talking about each other? Do we set that boundary, right? Because it's like we're gonna have conflict at some point, and where's the love there? And publicly, where's the love, right? And I do think there's jokes, and then there's also like, no, that person, like I do crazy things for that person because they're my ride or die, right? And what does that mean, right? Well, it means you have this deep level of trust, and you guys are so bonded and connected there, and you guys just have each other's back above everyone else's in a way. At the same time, it's like that person's not your everything, right? It's like, which is like kind of a paradox, right? Because if you make her your everything, it's like ride or die this. It's like, you still got to be a member in community, and then you're gonna have a thriving relationship if you don't just try to bring all your problems to that one person. And so, yeah, so that's like the game, right? How do we like deal with our problems together, but also like other problems we have? How do we also have like a network and a supportive team and a community around us? So yeah, this is that. So those are the biggest things. And top emotional needs. Yeah, some touch. And I mean, I really think like let's just address the elephant in the room. Like I think the core to a healthy relationship is an on fire sex life. And I do think that takes creativity on both people's behalf, and probably like you know, yeah. And I think as a man, for that to happen, you have to be someone that your woman respects. And, you got to respect yourself. And usually respecting yourself means doing simple things that are discomfortable. So that's kind of, I think, how I'm going to answer that. I, so we're going to crush this last question. Question number 90. How do you fight fair in relationships while avoiding harmful remarks? I have no idea how you fight fair in relationship while avoiding harmful marks. Well, mm, I do have an idea. And I just want to preface it where this is advice to myself because this is not fully in my bones. And I haven't been in a long term relationship in like what, almost 2 years. So, you know, and also this stuff also just like doesn't come up, right? But I'm guessing I'm talking about romantic relationships. But how do you fight fair in relationships while avoiding harmful remarks? My advice would be to use I statements. I felt like this, I that, I this, and to, yeah, because otherwise, if you're using you statements, it's like now you're more likely to use harmful remarks, right? So you're taking ownership by using I statements, and then I'd also remind myself not to take anything too personally. You're gonna take things personally too, as well. But remember, try to just catch when you're taking things personally. See it for what it is. You're taking something personally. This could be just them venting, raging, and I just like caught the wrong wind of it, and now we're like arguing and like let's just can we just laugh about it, right? But can I also be genuine about that, or am I like upset about something, or is like no, I can genuinely laugh at myself that I got all like flustered taking something personally that doesn't matter, and it's like, oh my gosh, like wait, we're trying to buy light bulbs and now we're arguing. This is just honestly comical. Like, no, I'm done with this right here. And I'm deciding that this is funny and I'm laughing at myself. And I took whatever you said personally, whatever light bulbs you want, or like, no, I'm buying this one. We're done here. Right. Like something of that nature. And then it's also like, how do I honor the times where I actually am triggered? But honestly, honoring the times I actually am triggered, it's like sometimes reminding myself space is the best thing, right? Maybe not talking about it in that moment until I have more clarity on what it is that I'm actually experiencing and feeling. So that's how you fight fair. How do you fight fair in relationship while avoiding harmful remarks? I statements, I feel this, I feel that, I this, questions, back to questions, fight fair, And yeah, I mean, also in the relation, like fighting fair while avoiding harmful remarks. One thing that's just coming to my mind is like like in in fights, not like fights, but in arguments or disagreements with romantic partners in the future. I also want to be able to pause and kind of be like whatever I do, I don't want to lose my respect for myself. Or I also have to look like, am I even lashing out because I am losing respect for myself? Am I compounding, inaction again? Maybe I wasn't doing what I said I was going to do, and now that's why this person's angry at me. And okay, where do I have to see that? And where is like, are they saying something because they're trying to point a flag at like, hey, you're losing respect for yourself and I'm just sounding the alarm, right? And that's probably like likely the case, right? And with some arguments, and women just speak in womenese sometimes, and so it's hard to understand that's what she's saying, but she's really got your back of like, hey, you don't want to lose respect in yourself, so maybe follow through on the thing that you're saying, and that's why I'm saying this, right? And I'm not actually saying it to be a nag. So it's all deeper games of discernment, right? And then yeah, just like me looking forward in any conflict, it's like, how do I maintain my self-respect, right? And that's part of like fighting fair, right? It's like, where am I going to stand for? I am here standing because when we're in some sort of argument, then that means some sort of agreement can be made where we both come out win-win. That's likely going to take both of us being vulnerable, but I'm willing to stand here firm and being like, these are my needs, these are my conditions, and that's that. And this is also like what I need, right? That yeah, these are my needs, these are my conditions. And then also being willing to say no deal, right? Of like, no, I will not, no, this is not going to happen like that. And also it's like, here's another thing, how do you say no deal, but also realizing saying no deal isn't saying no relationship, right? And I think like my last relationship, I didn't have that balance. I'd get so frustrated and be like, no, that's against my needs and my standards and my this. And I can't even think of any concrete examples. But then I just get so frustrated and be like, you know what? I just feel like this relationship's not worth it. Let's just be done with it. And I like broke up with my ex like 4 times, right? And then it's like we get back together. I apologize. I was being irrational. It's like And so really what I need to do is like, how do I say no deal to said discussion, disagreement, and not necessarily no deal to the relationship, right? And because I also feel like that's like a weird controlly power trip on myself. If you don't change, I'm gonna break up with you. It's like, bro, that sounds like absolutely like horrible. And it's like, hey, cringe at that version of myself. Alrighty, this relationship. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. These relationship questions. It's a it, it is difficult because I got started today answering these questions a little bit later in the day, and yeah, and I don't know. I just feel why is it difficult? I feel like I guess I'm proud of myself for how I'm showing up authentically, but at the same time, I do feel like man, I am exposing myself right now. So and that's okay. That's okay because there's only one question, right? And it's like, would I date myself? And I asked that question um, maybe a month ago, and the answer I was honestly was like, no, no. So that's okay. That I guess I'm being raw because it's like, would I date myself? And honestly, it's like as the day go by, it's like I'm looking sexier and sexier. So it's like, would I date myself today? I'm still like, no. Well, I would go on a date with myself. I wouldn't just like shut myself down, but I don't know if I'd be like, I'm gonna be with this guy long term with myself. But I would take myself on a date because yeah, I got a little bit of that felt and I feel why. It's like that it's that felt sensation of momentum. That's really what I'm chasing in my life. I'm questioning if that's what it means. You know, is that the what alive is? Just having that feeling of momentum. I want that. And also like rewatching my content and stuff, it's like I'm just taking ownership that I have not been, well, it's not what I've not done. I can just see that I have not been a scientist. I've just not been a scientist. And it's like, I want to take actions towards being a better scientist. That's something I would want mastery over. It's like, I'm all big on system theory and system science and, you know, all questions, questions, questions. Well, questions are just hypotheses. It's like, you gotta publish some results, young chap. And so that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, okay, instead of being so, you know, in the first videos, like starting this whole thing, I watch back and I'm like, man, I was very harsh on myself. And then yeah, I kind of came to this thing. It's like, oh wait, I've just been playing in a different domain and I'm being asked to go dance in another domain and it's uncomfortable. But also it's like this is yeah, there's there's also this like sick and tired sensation that might have had of a rise. But where am I going with all this? This is just some late night. These are some just catch ups on it because I believe this is my like 10th video. I'm 10 days in to pressing record, and in my like rock bottom first video sort of thing, that's like yeah, I was kind of like loosely joked in there. It's like, could I take my own advice and just film every day for 30 days? And it's like, I'm a third away in there. It's like, man, I might hit 30 and I might be like, I would date that guy. He's fun. He's cool. And he's like about his business. Right. And so the more I prove to myself I'm about my business, the more I actually am like, ooh, big man. Ooh. So just is what it is. Right. It just is what it is what it is. And yeah, I feel like everything is, man, there's like this. I feel like I was watching some of my first videos. I was making this, finally like rewatching my stuff. And I said, I really feel like the universe is playing a trick on me or has me right where it wants me in a way. Because it is like there is that the reality and there is the pain with the reality of like, you know, 30 years old, living at home, blah, blah, blah. And all of that stuff is present. At the same time, there's some peace to me about all of that, right? And that's why I'm like, I feel like the universe, you know, wanted me here for a reason. And I really feel like I got to give myself a lot more credit for what has happened over these last 10 years and the, you know, unseen sort of work I've done to have this like peace in this situation, you know? So, yeah, I got to say that. And then also with that, like, I'm just grateful that it's not like I have like only $100 to my name. So I'm also grateful that I have this time in my life to invest in me having this experience of recording myself and just going full board with like these questions and AI and marketing. And it's like, all right, take that, all of that, just that's your play. You want to see that? Well, what does your imagination like pull from all of that? Where do you fit in on all that? What would be the coolest thing you could build in all of that, right? And start pulling that towards reality, make that real. And I was joking about um, just being able to go about the whole day, shoot a video in the morning, then you send it off to your team, things happen sometime during the day, you're going to the bathroom, you're on Instagram, and then you check your own profile, and then you're kind of giggling because I see myself on some short that my team made, and they got some sound effects and funny emojis, and I'm like, that was good, they did that nice, and I'm all hyped up about it. Then I send it to a friend, and then I go out through a day, blah blah blah, go on a date, whatever, come home at night, like before, chilling, maybe eating some to go dessert that I brought. I got my feet up on the couch. I turn on the TV. I put on YouTube. I click on my profile, and I'm seeing like how that video of just me kind of free flowing like this to the camera, like got processed by my team, edited. Now there's like some cool video on YouTube, and I get to watch myself back. That'd be like the perfect day, right? And it's funny because like just saying that, and then yesterday it's like I moved my desk. Clearly, there's a big screen TV here, and there's a couch there, and it's like last night. It's like wait, and I just HDMI corded myself from my laptop onto the TV, and I got to sit there on the couch and watch myself. And I'm like, that's me. And it's like, get used to this. This is going to be the lifestyle. You just about to be watching yourself from Penthouses next. And instead of you putting it on the TV, you just going to be clicking on YouTube because your team put it on TV. So, no. I'm holding that optimism. That is me, baby. That is coming, and I'm working the missing piece. The missing piece to the puzzle is, Case, you got to be a scientist. You got to run experiments, log data. And that's when I'm saying be serious, it's like, I think I'm saying be a scientist about it, right? Science is serious stuff. You got to be a scientist about all this stuff, right? Which just means logging and experimenting. Like that's it. But do the experiment and write down the logs, right? It's one thing to say it like, yeah, that's all you gotta do, bro. And then as I'm finding out, just filling out my simple little cards, that's all you gotta do, bro. Then it's like, why is it midnight? No, I'm just kidding, it's not midnight, but still. Alrighty, there it is. Peace out.